Which AI tool is the best tool out there for print on demand? There's so many image generation tools now, and I wanted to make this video comparing the 3 best on the market to find out where you should put your money. Now, I want to quickly stress this video is in no way sponsored by any of these tools. None of them know I'm making it. It's going to be completely unfiltered, unbiased, and real. Okay, this is going to be based off my experience from tens of thousands of sales, many of which have come from using AI to create designs. And that's because there are some really incredible tools out there. So the 3 tools we're going to be comparing with each other today is Midjourney, Mystic PoD, and ChatGPT. Not only are we going to be comparing those 3 tools, I'm going to be sharing with you some secrets that I haven't really shared before on how you can use some of these tools in a specific way to generate some of the most incredible designs, some of the best sellers that we have ever made in our life, in our over 10 years experience in this business. So I've got my iPad here, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through 3 rounds of testing. And that's testing for the exact same prompt, but just changing it slightly. So those 3 rounds, and then we'll finally get to a winner in terms of image generation. We'll then do another completely separate niche, a separate prompt, and find out which one came out on top. I'll then be sharing with you this really crazy tactic that you should be using. And then finally, we'll go over a couple of things like the spec sheets, the features that all the tools have, and which one ultimately is the best for you. So the most important thing we've got to think about when it comes to design, we all know this if you've seen my videos, but the way I'm testing the different AI image generation tools is on how well they're making t-shirt designs specifically for print on demand. So we look at a couple things. So this is the box. We have the placement as the most important part of the design. If AI can't get that right, then I'm just simply not interested. We've then got phrase. This is a very, very important part. This could be the make it or break it of your design. Then graphic, then font/color. Okay. Now, some designs don't have a phrase, and that's fine. And some designs don't have a graphic, and some designs have a mixture of both. For us, with our sales and all the data that I've been able to pull together, a combination of the 2, phrase and graphic, so a phrase with a graphic, have sold the best, have done the best, have made the most money, have resulted in the most frequent best sellers. So for me, when I'm looking at AI, I really value and prioritize AI that can get the text right, that can match the text with the phrase, can match the 2 with the vibe and the audience. So not make a too childish design for an adult or too adult design for a child, and just really understand what they're doing. So there's a lot to think about. So let's have a look at round 1. Round 1, this is the prompt that I used. I'm not going to read this entire phrase, but feel free to pause the video, give it a read. It's a very, very detailed phrase. It's almost impossible to get anything wrong. There's a couple of buzzwords in here, such as retro vintage style illustration, 1950s housewife, you'd see confidently, you just don't need confidently, whilst holding a small gardening fork. A buzzword here is small because obviously you can have massive forks as well. And again, we're thinking print on demand, not posters. And with print on demand, you want things to be a little bit more condensed. So a lot of this stuff isn't necessary, but this is just round 1. We've got the text below the image, right? How else would I hide the body? So that's very, very important. Design should have a humorous, slightly dark tone. A white pastel background is important. And then we also ask it to put it on a single color print style. Okay, so very, very important keywords there. So let's have a look. The first one was Midjourney. Now, don't get me wrong. These are flipping sick. These are so cool. However, they are not for print on demand. These are great for a magazine cover, a poster, something along those lines. The only one that might be able to be okay on print on demand is potentially this one, or maybe even this one, but these are not really print on demand. They're too realistic. There's too many colors. They have not followed the prompt of using a monochromatic vibe, meaning one color. And then, of course, one of the biggest pitfalls of Midjourney that we're going to see as we go through is they cannot get words right. Look at this. This just says guarding, and then host thou cave hen high hidderies bottery. What? And then this one says guarding again. Hod bring hide cowdy hides. It sounds like that song, Heidi, 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 Hi. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's hilarious. Not on my channel. So yeah, they've got the... So in terms of... Let's just go through it. Placement. Yeah, the placement's pretty solid. You know, I like that it's covering a little bit. The phrase, a big no. Graphic, big no. Colors, big no. Font. Yeah, font is quite nice. I like the font. But for the most part, it's just not worked. So that was round one for Midjourney. Round one for ChatGPT. Okay, so definitely a lot better. You know, you got gardening, spot right. How else could I hide the bodies? Spot right. For some weird reason, ChatGPT cut it off over here and over here. I didn't do this. I don't know why. What ChatGPT has done quite nicely is they've really got the tonality of the monochrome look and that classic print-on-demand 1950s retro vintage style design that we're going for. The only thing I don't really like is the fact that this sunflower is just like a separate thing. I feel like the sunflower would have been better if it just wasn't here. The woman was shifted up into the middle, so she took up this much space. And I feel like that would have been a little bit better. Right, so this ticks well, it doesn't really tick placement because of this sunflower, but it gets the phrase, it gets the coloring, it gets the font, and the graphic is brilliant. This is a perfect print-on-demand style graphic. And then we have Mystic. Mystic did a fantastic job. So it's got the wording right, gardening, how else could I hide the bodies, gardening, how else could I hide the bodies. So spelling is perfect. I actually like the sunflower a little bit more in this one. I don't like it in this one, but I like how the sunflower is actually smiling, looking at the girl. This one, it's smiling, but creepily looking at us. So this is like a stop looking at me kind of vibe. And I like this. You've got the text that's kind of like arced over here. You've got this, which is aligned very nicely with this, right? And overall, the styling, it's gone for that retro vintage look. The thing with the Mystic that you're going to have to do is upscale it. And don't worry, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But one thing I noticed, and you can see from these designs, this is the output size that ChatGPT gave, and this is the output size that Mystic gave. So it's a much smaller image, but once you've upscaled it, that shouldn't be a problem. But basically, of round one, the clear winner is Mystic. It got everything right, and they look like they're print-on-demand designs. And I guess it's not surprising because Mystic was made for print-on-demand. It's made by a print-on-demand seller for print-on-demand sellers, whereas ChatGPT is just a general AI tool. It's super powerful, but it's not really focused. And then Midjourney is not focused either. It's just an image generation tool for anyone. All right, let's have a look at round two. So round two, you can see the difference, right? I drastically, look at the difference between the phrases. I drastically condensed down this phrase. So I kept important concepts like retro 1950s style woman. I kept holding a small gardening fork, checkered apron, bold vintage monochrome illustration. That's important. And then text, gardening, and how else could I hide the bodies? And then I added t-shirt design layout because I thought maybe that would help Midjourney. Maybe that will also help ChatGPT get the spacing right. So let's have a look at how they did. So the first one, Midjourney. Again, it's still not getting that monochromatic look. It kind of got it over here, except for the yellow glasses and the yellow sunflower. It's vibed the sunflower with the person a lot better. So you can see it actually, the sunflower and the person fit a lot nicer together. So in terms of a picture, it looks a lot better. But again, it's just not getting text. You know, there is an H here. Where the heck did an H come from? How Connelling Hidi Lie is PoD. Like, what is this saying? So not only does this again look like a magazine poster of sorts, it just doesn't really work for print on demand. Let's have a look at ChatGPT. So ChatGPT here pretty much got it spot on from every element. The placement, right? the phrase gardening, how else could I hide the bodies, the sunflower being in the ground and the ground kind of like blending into the person's body and then even to their hips over here. It's bringing it all together and it's making it look a lot more cohesive. The graphic style of the woman is much better. I would have preferred they went for a color monochromatic look, like a teal or something. The only thing that this did wrong is the words, how else could I hide my body? It should be here. They should have put it down here. It was in the instructions. It didn't listen to the instructions. It would also make the design look a little bit better, especially if the roundness of the woman's head came over the roundness of here. So it kind of looked like that. It was a little bit higher up. I think that would look a lot better. It also would read better as well. But other than that, this did it really, really well. You know, it got everything right. And in all fairness, I would download this. I would put it into Affinity Designer. I would move the how else could I hide the bodies down here, stretch it out, make it a little bit bigger. I'd move the woman up, and there I would have a pretty perfect design. And then Mystic, again, it did 2 prompts. Also, as you can see, a lot smaller, so they need to be upscaled, but really, really, really good. So I'm not such a fan of this one because it's done this thing that sometimes AI does, and I'll zoom in and show you. But basically, sometimes AI will make really wacky shapes, like what's going on here and here with the glasses, and like the mouth is a little bit off, and like sometimes like you can see the kind of graphically pencily broken style that it goes for. Like for example, of the edges of the sunflowers, all the spill of like color, well, not color, it's black and white, but you know what I mean, right? The spill of pencil kind of drawing. It can do that sometimes, so just bear that in mind. It's not going to really make the biggest difference. It's not going to make or break, but it's still important to note. But in terms of like placement, this is perfect. You know, this is so perfect. The words are down here. The font is brilliant. It's really stuck to what we told it to do. And then this one was even better. I love this one. This has gone for like a pencily artistic kind of style, which hones in on that almost kind of mistake that some AI does, which I just told you about, where the skewed thing, sometimes people see it with fingers or whatever, but because it's got like this dotted effect everywhere, it actually really plays into that. It plays into the text, the 2 fonts go perfectly. The sunflower is just like blended in nicely. I love this kind of bit here. Really, really cool. Her face could have been a little bit more like sassy, but other than that, this design pretty much doesn't need any changes. It needs to be upscaled, it needs to be background removed or vectorized, and then it's pretty good to go. So I'm very happy with that. So out of all of them, I'm going to kind of give the win. It's really hard. The win is either it's going to be a joint win for this one, and then this is going to come in second. And Midjourney, I'm not even bothering with, as you can tell. And then with round 3, instead of making it shorter, I actually just made it a little bit more detailed. So I added a couple more things. So nice 50 style graphic for a t-shirt. Okay, so I've added for a t-shirt of a woman with curled hair, heart-shaped sunglasses, smiling. I removed a couple of things that just wasn't necessary, a couple of buzzwords, but I kept small gardening fork. I kept checkered apron. I kept so I changed this to one color instead of monochromatic, so one color illustration, and then I kept obviously gardening in a fancy script font, and how I was going to hide the bodies in a playful serif font on a plain white background. So let's have a look at how they all did. So Midjourney, again, it's just doing the same thing every time almost. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think this one is cool. Besides the fact that she's eating the fork, and that here the fork's a bit messed up, and here she's holding a knife, not a fork. So this one's pretty good, but then like her eyes and her eyebrows, like that looks scary, almost like, you know, the Joker from Batman kind of vibes. It still got the text wrong every time. Like literally every time, to the point where I don't want to waste my time with ChatGPT, with Midjourney anymore. Maybe I'll use Midjourney just for graphics only kind of things. But even then, you've got to be so specific, because it will always make this hyper realistic kind of style, which doesn't really work on t-shirts. ChatGPT made pretty much the same thing as, I think it was the first one. Yeah, pretty much the same thing as the first one, except this time it got it all in. It's put the text down here, so well done. It's got the text right. It's got the text right here. The sunflower is not looking so good, so took a step back. That looks a little bit worse. It just looks like it's been placed there. Again, I feel like if she was just moved up into the center, you wouldn't need the sunflower. You could just leave this space, and that would look a lot better. And again, by the way, that's a really, really easy thing to do. We're talking less than 3 minutes to fix that in Affinity Designer, or any program for that matter, but maybe not like Canva. Or maybe you can do it in Canva, but I'm not the biggest fan for manipulation in Canva. And then we have Mystic. So Mystic, okay, this is a funny one. This is a funny picture. Like, it completely took the style of the woman and went in on what I said, where like AI can do those weird things, and it's just made like super weird stuff happen. Like, look at what's going on with her, like her face, like her skin coming around over there, and like this kind of like, it's not pixelated, it's almost like grainy. It's like a grainy look, which we're not the biggest fan of. Saying that, it's got the text spot on, and I like that. Let's have a look at the second one it produced, because this one was really good. So this one, again, I think a clear winner here. Gardening, how else could I hide the bodies? I like that this is in lowercase. Actually, they tried something new here versus it being in uppercase. It kind of takes away from the, like, it makes it seem a little bit calmer, like you're not, like gardening, it's how I hide the bodies, right? It's kind of going for that vibe, which I kind of like. The sunflower I would also remove and put her in the middle. Maybe I'll put some like gardening stuff below, just kind of like, and like that, just so that it's not such a harsh edge, because you can see it's like cut the woman off so harshly over here, and that might break up the harshness of it. But I would say out of round 3, we have another winner here, which is going to be, well, again, I'm gonna go ChatGPT and Mystic, both winners. This one comes in second, and then Midjourney is just like, what's it doing, right? So that's really cool. That's cool to know. It seems like the most consistent so far has been Mystic. ChatGPT is coming into its own, but you can see ChatGPT go for their specific style. They have a style, and Mystic has a style. Although there's a couple things, obviously these styles are a direct representation of what my prompt was. So, clearly ChatGPT could have an entirely different style if I ask it something different in the prompt. Likewise with Mystic. But it's cool to see that using the exact same prompt, ChatGPT and Mystic are producing, two, not entirely, but two slightly different styles. Okay, so the verdict. Simple prompts work a lot better. So that's an important takeaway. AI doesn't need that much detail in your prompt. So another thing, by the way, just a separate point, and I'll talk more about it at the end, but all my Mystic designs that I've made for this video, and any Mystic designs that I've made, you can get these designs. I've made a specific collection. So if you're only watching this video, the link down below it takes you to my specific Mystic collection that you can get access to. You can download those and use them on your own store. You can get sales with them, do whatever you want with them based on my creation. So that's just a little cool bonus that you can do with Mystic, where I can make stuff and actually just give it to you. I kind of like that. Okay, the next one, round 1, and this only has 1 round. And this is an entirely different design. A vintage style t-shirt graphic featuring 3 different golf clubs arranged in a fan shape. So this is all important. A driver on the left, a wedge in the center, and a putter on the right. Above the golf clubs, I put a full stop there, that might have messed them up. Above the golf clubs, the bold distressed text, choose your, and below it, it says weapon, all in uppercase. So, and then we've got important things like grunge on plain black background, and the overall design should feel bold. So a couple of important points, right? Let's have a look at how they all did. So Midjourney did a lot better. In fact, it's even got spelling. That works. Only in this one. Yeah, only in this one. This one you've got choose Yof. This one's got choose your golf weapon. And this one says choose your or golf weapon. And then also the golf clubs. Like, what is this golf club here? Where it's like a driver on one side and I don't know what's on the other side. So it's completely missed the prompt in the sense of I want you to have it like this in this shape with a fan, with a golf club, golf club, golf club. Like that's what I was going for. So it's missed that, right? It hasn't understood that. Out of all of these, what I would probably use is this one. This is my favorite. I really like the styling. I really, really like the grunge and the font and the messiness of it. I would remove this one in an editing tool like Affinity. And I would just keep, you know, this one, and this one. And I think that would look really, really cool. So that's actually going to score quite high because I think that's a really cool design. I love the grunginess that they've done. Right. ChatGPT has listened to the prompt and got it right. You know, choose your weapon in a nice arc, weapon at the bottom, grunge all around, 3 things. I feel like it hasn't got the things right. Like that doesn't look much like a driver, but whatever. I also feel like it could have done the spacing a little bit better. So this one could have either come like this, or this one could have had more of a gap here so that it matches this gap there. But I mean, other than that, it's pretty good. In terms of placement, I feel like the placement's just a tad little bit off. Weapon could probably be moved up that way just a little bit, but these are small tweaks that we can do in Affinity. Not such a problem. I'm very happy doing small tweaks. If you're looking for like a one and done kind of deal, like a package where you just don't have to mess with it at all, then maybe this isn't the best tool for you. And then Mystic. So Mystic did a cool job as well. Choose your weapon, choose your weapon. I like that they've crossed over. That's cool. This is my favorite, although I'm not entirely sure what this golf club is. I can tell what this one is and this one is. This is much more centered. So they've done a much better job of centering. This one as well, much better job of centering. Not the biggest fan of this font. I much more prefer this font. So that's better. I also prefer this graphic, although this graphic is actually, no, you know what, no, I changed that. I prefer this graphic. This graphic is a lot better because there's a lot of black points on this graphic, which will make it hard to print and not look so good, whereas this graphic is mainly this kind of creamy white color. I really like that. So again, if I have to rank these, in terms of who listened to the prompt the best, I'm going to go ChatGPT. Then I'm going to probably go with this one, then this one, and then this one. Now, in terms of which ones I like the best, I'm probably going to say this one is my number one I like the best. I like this one the best after, only because it's different to what I've seen out there. And then ChatGPT comes in a solid third. Cool. All right, now, there is something cool that I want to share with you. ChatGPT has a secret weapon. Okay, this secret weapon can't really be done on Midjourney, and it can kind of be done on Mystic, but not to the detail that Midjourney can produce. And I'm going to share with you what it is. So this is a research scalable design. Does that look familiar? This is the design we've just recreated in golf clubs. You've got the arced words, you've got the grunge, you've got the fan-like thing with the even spacing over here, the even spacing over here. So this one's obviously a spatula, fork, and tongs for barbecue. And this is literally what I want. This is a scalable design, by the way. This is a design that you could use for many, many niches. And this is what I want it to look like. But let's say I can't find the word to describe this. Well, with ChatGPT, I can put this in and I can just say, I want you to copy this design exactly, use the same styling, the same font, the same grunge, the same everything. But I want you to change the 3 kitchen utensils, the spatula, the fork, and the tongs, and I want you to make them a golf, a wedge, a putter, and a driver, like a golf clubs, right? And look at how it does it. It's brilliant. It's absolutely mind-blowingly amazing. You've got the spacing, you've got the perfect, almost identical font, you've got the graphic style of this kind of graphic style, which works so well for print on demand, and this kind of graphic style as well, like with the broken, with like the grunginess and the pencily kind of messiness, it really matches that of the text. So in my mind, this feature is the most powerful feature currently in print on demand. This feature is making people millionaires, and I'm not joking with you there either. This feature is the most powerful feature of ChatGPT, specifically for print on demand. It's obviously not the most powerful feature of ChatGPT, but specifically for print on demand. And what we do a lot of is so this is a research design, this isn't ours. We will actually put our own bestseller in. So let's say one of our designs, right? One of our designs has many thousands of sales. It's done over $75,000 in sales. That is a bestseller for us. We will put that design in and we will say, change this or change that or whatever. And it will use the same concepts and it just works flawlessly every single time. It's never messed up for me. I know a lot of people in the comments sometimes say it's messed up for them. I pay for ChatGPT. Maybe that helps. Maybe, I get better treatment for paying. I don't know. But what I will say is the only downside to using ChatGPT is when I'm doing too much, it will say take a break, and that break can be a few hours, which is a little bit annoying. Now, Mystic does have a similar feature where you can upload a picture, you can tell it what you wanted to change, and you can click the remix button. So let me show you Mystic. So this is obviously, the same thing. These two designs are the same, right? And I put this into Mystic, and I basically said to Mystic, copy this exact thing. I use the same prompt as well. Copy that exact same thing, just obviously change it. So what Mystic has done perfectly is the font. It's almost an identical font. I mean, this one's a little bit more grunge. But other than that, I actually prefer the Mystic's font. But you can see how it's not as perfect as this font, right? And then it's matched the golf club perfectly up. What it hasn't done is added a golf club here and added a golf club here, which is like what I asked it to do. If it would have done that, then this would have been perfect. So the adding an image and remixing on Mystic, it does work. It's just not as accurate as ChatGPT's. This feature specifically, right? So that's just an important thing to note as well. So which should you pick? Because there's so many other things to consider. So let's kind of go through them now. The first thing to consider before we go through the table is ChatGPT is not an image generation tool first. It's just the most powerful AI on the planet first, basically. So, you could use it for phrases, you could use it for research, you could also use it for not print on demand things. We use it for so much stuff. For example, we're planning a trip to South Africa and we're using it to help plan our entire trip, the itineraries, the prices, the places to call, the nicest accommodations, the best scenic routes, all of it, right? And it's literally, it's almost as if like, I don't know how anyone survived before it existed. Like, it's right here in my pocket. If I have a question, I would usually go to Google, right? And I'd send put a long thing in Google. Have you ever put an essay into Google and just hope that it gave you an answer? And now my go-to is always ChatGPT. Now I know ChatGPT can be wrong, and sometimes I'll always double check, or I'll say, give me your sources, which it always does. But that's what I want you to realize. ChatGPT is just a powerful AI tool that I think, regardless of what image generation tool you have, you should have ChatGPT as just a thing in your tool belt if you're running any business or you're just living, because it's just so powerful for every day-to-day stuff as well. Now, bear in mind, ChatGPT does have a really powerful free version. It's just not nearly as good as the paid. So that's that thing. That's that to consider. Now, the same thing with Midjourney. Midjourney is a solely focused image generation tool, not for print on demand, but for images, and it can make some wildly incredible images, like truly incredible masterpieces. However, that's not what we really need for print on demand, okay? And then with Mystic, as I said, Mystic was made by a print on demand seller for print on demand sellers. So the designs that it's going to create are solely for print on demand. So it's a very focused tool for print on demand. So let's have a look. There's a couple of things, and because Mystic was made for print on demand, the person who made it, you might know them, Chris, they've got their own YouTube channel as well. They thought, what else do print on demand sellers need? They need a background remover, they need a vectorizer, they need an upscaler, whereas ChatGPT and Midjourney, they don't really need those things. That's not the intended audience. So background remover, let's have a look. Mystic, definitely, big tick, it has it, right? It's a simple click of a button. Question mark for Midjourney, question mark for ChatGPT. Why is there a question mark? Because what you can do is actually, no, it should be a big no for Midjourney. And the question mark for ChatGPT is because you can say, please put this design on a transparent PNG background. And 9 times out of 10, it will do it. Sometimes it will give you that checkered look background where it's not actually transparent. And then other times it changes the design. So when you have a final design and you say, right, now put this on a transparent background, it will recreate the whole design for you again, and it will put it on a transparent background, but the actual design might change slightly. There could be a slightly different font, a slightly different grunge, a slightly different graphic, a slightly different placement. It doesn't copy the exact same thing. Sometimes when you say, I want you to use this exact same design, don't change anything, just put it on a transparent background, sometimes that works. Whereas with Mystic, you have the image that it's generated for you, and you just click remove background. It doesn't regenerate an image, it just removes that background for you. So it's not changing anything. If you like the image, that's what the image is going to be. Vectorizer, ChatGPT, as far as I'm aware, as far as I've tried, it can't vectorize, and that's where you take an image and turn it into a vector, which is like a shape-based image, meaning you can zoom in millions of times. It's just shapes, there's no pixels anymore, and it becomes infinitely editable, it becomes much easier to use, infinitely scalable, and it becomes, a graphic designer's best friend. It's so much better working from SVG, vectorized images. Midjourney, definitely can't do that, but Mystic can, because again, Chris was like, I know a lot of print-on-demand sellers need this, I need this, so I'm going to make this. Upscaler, again, Midjourney has a question mark. I put an X there. It can upscale it, but it's not very good. So you can click the upscale button. It makes it slightly bigger, but still it could get bigger. And if you can't then say to it, hey, Midjourney, upscale this image even further. It's not how it works. It's not like an ongoing conversation with Midjourney like it is with ChatGPT. With ChatGPT, you can ask it to upscale it as well, but again, I've noticed it doesn't do a very good job of it. It can change the image again, and it can do the same thing that it's doing for the vectorize. With Mystic, again, simple click of the button, vectorize, upscale. Pod specific. So obviously Midjourney we've spoken about, not pod specific for ChatGPT, but pod specific for Mystic. I say ChatGPT is not pod specific, by the way, but if you know how to prompt and you understand the fundamentals and the foundations of a design, it's really, really good. It can do print-on-demand designs fantastically. As I said, some of our best sellers are ChatGPT creations. Bulk actions. So ChatGPT does not have bulk actions. Midjourney does not have bulk actions. So the only bulk action you get on Midjourney is you get 4 results when you ask for an image, and that's it. You could do plugins to do bulk actions, but it's not the best. ChatGPT has no bulk actions. It's 1 image at a time. There are ways around getting a few more, but then it kind of makes the quality a little bit worse. And then in terms of bulk actions, I don't just mean bulk getting results, I mean bulk editing those. So in Mystic, you can get, 5 results, for example, all in with 1 prompt. But on top of that, you can also select all and bulk remove the background, bulk vectorize, bulk download. And these are all really important things. So for example, my workflow currently is research, ChatGPT, and then upload to My Designs. If you don't know what My Designs is, it's just another tool where I can bulk do stuff. So then I'll bulk remove, bulk vectorize, bulk remove backgrounds, and then I will download, right? And it will be finished, done. Sometimes I need to edit them in Affinity as well. With Mystic, it just goes from research to download, done, bulk action, straight there, and then download. So it removes a lot of steps, which I kind of like. Collections and organization. So, well, I've given Midjourney an X, but I guess you can make separate channels. So if you pay for Midjourney, you can create separate Discord servers. And in those servers, you can kind of organize by folders. So yeah, I'm going to give that back a tick. It can do it. It's just not super neat. ChatGPT, again, you can have various different folders, but it's not really organized. It's all like conversations that you've got to scroll through. So it's a tick, but to be honest, it should be more of an X. And then Mystic, you can add things to collections. You can keep various different collections. Once you create a design, you can add it to a collection, and it's super organized in your collections, and you can see your whole collection page. I can do a tutorial, by the way, on each individual tool. If you want, let me know in the comments. What's cool about the Mystic collections is I can actually give the designs that I make to you. As I said earlier, I've made a bunch of designs and I've done a bunch of testing over the last however long, I don't even know. But specifically for this video, I've made a collection called Ultimate Showdown video where I'm testing these 3. And you can click the link down below and actually go and download all the Mystic designs that I've shown you right here, which is great. Remix. So not really. So Remix is basically a button where you like the design, you want it to change a little bit. Midjourney has a remix feature. It's just terrible, so I'm giving it an X. ChatGPT doesn't really have a remix feature, but you can say change the style to this. The only problem I have with ChatGPT is when you're in a conversation and you say, right, thank you for that pencil style, and now change it to a cartoon, it still slightly remembers the pencil style and it kind of gives you this weird hybrid and it kind of doesn't really know what to do and it just makes a weird mashup. And sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't. With Mystic, it's a very simple click the remix button. Everything's just with a click of a button. You click the remix button, done. So I like that. Styles, again, Midjourney don't really have styles. ChatGPT, you can ask for different styles. So yes, it does work. But with Mystic, there is a pop-up where you can just select, once you've got the design, you can then select from all the different styles and it will recreate that exact same design, but in that style, which is cool. And then a prompt generator. So no, the only way to get prompts from Midjourney is to kind of put a design in, ask it to describe it, and then it will give you some prompts that you can use yourself. With ChatGPT, again, you're putting in a design, you're asking it to describe it, and it's giving you a prompt back. You can also say to ChatGPT, I want to make a design that looks like this. So you're almost giving it a prompt, and then you say to it, can you turn this into a better prompt? And it can do that. Whereas with Mystic, it can just flat out create the prompts for you, which I kind of like. Now, in terms of pricing, you've got Midjourney costing you $10 a month, ChatGPT costing you 20, and Mystic costing you 8, and with that you get 150 credits, and it's 1 credit per square image, so that's about 150 images, and that's per month. If you're thinking 150 images per month is not very much, please stop thinking that, because if you're making 150 designs a month, I would strongly suggest you go back and you just make better designs that are more intentional, that are getting sales, because with 150 designs a month, I would hope you're on more than 20K a month from your sales. You can spend more time making more intentionally focused, audience-specific designs. So just bear that in mind, okay? Now, with this price, I know it's the most, ChatGPT, but also bear in mind, it does so much more than image generation, which is why I think this should be in everyone's tool belt regardless. ChatGPT is just a powerhouse at everything. So $20, yes, it's a lot of money. For some people, I don't even know what to compare it to. For me, it's like a phone bill, but I know in America, phone bills are a lot more. But this is like a non-negotiable in my opinion. Like ChatGPT, everyone should have. Midjourney, we can live without. Genuinely, I'm going to cancel mine as soon as this video is finished because I'm realizing that I just don't use it. It's really not that good and it's just unnecessary and it's just costing me money and it's a waste. It's not a lot of money, $120 a year. It's not a crazy amount of money, but money is money, And then $8 a month, I think is pretty good. I think 150 credits is fine. If you want 400 credits, it goes up to $16 a month, which is still less than ChatGPT, but bear in mind this is just a print-on-demand design tool. It's not going to have the functionality that ChatGPT has in terms of just research and that kind of stuff. So, final verdict. What am I thinking? Simply put, this is what I think. You don't have to take my advice for it. The links for all 3 will be down below. Please do what you will with it. But if you kind of trust me, you've listened to me, you've watched any of my stuff, you like my videos or you like my designs or whatever, I would strongly suggest you don't go for Midjourney. It's a waste of money. I would suggest you go for ChatGPT, not only for the print-on-demand side of things, but also for everything else. It's just a all-round powerhouse. And Mystic, I would also strongly suggest, as it was clearly the winner as the most consistent design tool from a round 1, round 2, round 3, and then also the next golf one. The only time ChatGPT beat Mystic was when I put the image in and I asked it to create something exactly the same, but just change the graphic or change the niche. That's where ChatGPT is just it's just what did I just do? It's just so good. It's really, really good. But in terms of having a consistent print-on-demand focused tool that has all those extra features like the background remover and the upscaler and all the things, and something that's been created specifically for print-on-demand, I would say go for this. So with the two of these, you're looking at, $28 a month. And if we just kind of think about it, I sell my t-shirts for $32.99. We have a pretty solid conversion rate of around 3 to 5%, which is way higher than industry standard. So if you're selling for that price, that's less than the cost of Mystic and ChatGPT for 1 month. If you're selling for a little bit less, like $28.99, maybe that's what you feel comfortable with, it's still more, right? So one sale will cover the cost of both of these. And I can tell you straight out from experience, you're going to absolutely love using both these tools. Your life will change drastically. And I would even argue and say if you use either of these two tools, you can cancel Kittle. I can't remember off the top of my head what Kittle is, but let's just say Kittle is about $15, meaning if you cancel Kittle, because I feel like a lot of people have Kittle, this now goes down to, $13, right? It's as if you're paying $13. And if you have Canva, because a lot of people have Kittle and Canva, that's $10, that's another 10. You're now basically paying $3 for these two things because you were clearly happy to spend money on Kittle and Canva. But with these two tools, you simply do not need Kittle and Canva. You just don't. Especially if you have Affinity Designer, which is a one-off cost. In the Design Hub, by the way, it's like $40, one-off cost. You can do all the manipulations, all the editing, everything you need in Affinity. And if you feel like you don't know how to use Affinity, we have a full-blown 5+ hour training course on how to use it, where you not only know how to use it for print on demand, but you become an Affinity expert. So the link for my design community is down below, not just my design community, but my print on demand community, where I take you from beginner all the way to store owner to store builder with over 100 really, really good, really intentional designs that will sell. So yeah, I would really, really recommend it. And if, by the way, you do go for that as well, let's say you go for these two, and you go for the community, which is currently $44. It goes up every 100 members, but currently $44. You have got yourself a full package. And let's just add Affinity to it as well, because why not? And in the community, there's an exclusive discount, the cheapest on the internet, where you can get Affinity for $42. You're looking at 86 plus that, which is going to be $114. So $114, right? You will have all the training and all the help and support that you could possibly need. So that's covered, all the feedback requests, all the live calls. Literally, you can post your designs, your stores, and you can get feedback from me and other experts. So that's covered. You've got your designs covered from a Mystic standpoint and a ChatGPT standpoint. You've got your research and assistant covered from a ChatGPT standpoint. And then if you need to make any tweaks or make any design changes, you've got the Affinity covered, all for $114. That's crazy. But if you don't want to think about all of that stuff and you just, you're looking for an AI tool, then Mystic and ChatGPT, $28, links down below. It's a no-brainer, guys. Honestly, it's changed our business drastically. Anyway, I hope that helped you understand the difference between the three tools, what their strengths were, what their weaknesses were. If you want to see more tutorials or step-by-steps with these three tools or one of these tools in specific, let me know in the comments down below. I really hope you liked this video. I hope it helped. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.